Good morning, my dear friends, on this journey of becoming more. And once more, a happy new year to everybody. 2020, I know, is going to be awesome. This decade is going to be brilliant. If you are like me and you like the astro information on numbers and spiritual numbers, biblically, the number 10 is a whole number, it's completeness. And so I know that this decade is going to be amazing for all of us. And so this journey is going to even be more exciting. So welcome on board again on this journey. We took a break. We needed to take a breather. And so we are back. So this week we are going to talk about three main points, but there's two subs. We are going to talk about your readiness for what 2020 has in store. How do we learn from the mistakes of last year and the last decade? And how to care for ourselves, physically, how to care for ourselves mentally. And so this is what we are going to talk about today. I hope you are ready and pumped for the year. I am excited for this year. And I look forward to spending the weeks with you to get us onto this journey of being happier and being intentional in everything we do. So are you ready to take advantage of what 2020 has in store for you? How do you make yourself ready? How are you going to make yourself ready to take advantage of the opportunities? What things are you going to do differently from how you used to do them before? You know, I know that every year, the beginning of every year, we all, if you look on my desk, you'll see my notice board. The thing on top is my vision board 2020. And so we are all planning the year. We are all setting our goals. We are all breaking them down and all of that. I know you are setting goals for yourself. I hope you are setting goals for yourself. I know the thing that it's become a little bit of a cliche, we are setting goals, annual goals, but it does work. We might not be able to follow through all of them 100%, but the fact that you take the time to introspect and to analyze the past year and what you need to do differently is good. So don't give it up. Don't give up on it. Just make it more realistic. We'll talk about that next week. But just make it simpler and more realistic and achievable so that you can work towards it. Because every time you achieve one of it, it motivates you even further. So this year, there are so many opportunities in the coming 360. Okay, it's already started. We have more than 30 days gone. So the coming 330-something days ahead or 20-something days ahead, there's so many opportunities in it for you and I. How do you ready yourself to take advantage of each opportunity in a way that when the opportunity knocks, you boldly open and you know, for instance, a friend invited me recently to partner with them to do something. And initially I was so excited. I hadn't said yes, but I just said, give me a day or so to think about it. And I completely forgot about it for over a week. And then when they got back, and I'm like, oh no, this and that. And initially I wanted to kick myself, like, why didn't you do this? And then I realized it's not part of my plans, it's his plan. And so this year, I'm intentionally trying to make sure that I say no when I'm not ready or when it's not part of what I have put on paper to do for myself. If it will take too much time, unless it's just a helping hand or a support, that we need to do. So what are you going to do differently to make sure that you are ready for all the opportunities that will come, family-wise, business-wise, financial-wise, knowledge-wise, you know, all the opportunities that God will bring your way this year? How are you going to make yourself ready to receive them, inshallah? How are you going to ensure that the mistakes we made in the past decade we do not repeat? I saw something on an old friend's what's the name, WhatsApp status last night. And I sent her a message. Her boys were cleaning up after themselves. And they were, you know, they were focused and they were doing this. And she was encouraging them. And so it was exciting to see the two boys and how they were focused and they were cleaning. They were really, really cleaning. It was not like a game. You know, they were intentionally cleaning. And I mentioned to her that it's beautiful how the next generation of African men would, you know, be a little more attentive to the fact that it's not just the woman that's supposed to take care of the home or the cleanliness of the home and things like that. And she was like, yes, it takes all of us to make the change that we want to see happen. So what are some of the mistakes we've made in the last decade that we don't want to see anymore? What are some of the mistakes you made last year that you don't want to see anymore? Don't just think about it. Focus and figure out What did I do wrong in terms of the time I arrive at work? What did I do, especially feeding off of the feedback you may have gotten from your supervisor on your performance management conversation? Some of the feedback they gave you, don't just take them on the surface and assume that my boss always does this if they don't want to promote me or this and that. Take item by item and find out how can I change that this time around and make it work for me, so that next time I sit down for a performance management conversation, you have answers to some of the questions that will come up. Or you can go back and say, last year, some of the things you intimated to me on my performance that went positive, I have corrected in this and that and this other manner. And so let me know how I did this year and so forth. What I'm trying to say is, take a look at the things that you didn't do so well last year and see what you have learned from it, and then either change them, reapply them, and move forward, so that you do not repeat the same mistakes that we did last year. Because the saying that it's only a madman who keeps doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. If you keep doing the same things over and over and over, if you keep waking up at 8 a.m. in the morning, and hoping to get to the office by 9, you won't, because you can't predict the traffic in town. I live quite far away from central Accra, and so for you to get to town early, you must leave your house by between 5 and 6. If you leave after 6, you might be stuck in traffic and get to the office after 8, But if you leave just before 6, you would be in town in enough time to, get ready, prepare yourself before everybody else starts coming to the office, so you are calm and you're ready to take on the day. What are some of the things you will do this year that will make sure that you are always ready for work in the mornings? What are you going to do differently this year to take advantage of the talents God has deposited in your heart, and not just to do a 9-to-5 job, but to espouse the things that He expects of you in this life, your fit in the puzzle of the bigger scheme of things? What are you going to do differently this year to begin to live within those talents? Are you going to start saving this year? Are you going to start reading those books about that talent? Are you going to start taking those courses? When you write your training needs this year, are you going to factor in those personal talent development ones? Are you going to spend time to self-introspect, to figure out what the core talents are? Or like we discussed in the beginning of this program, take those personality tests online and find out what your core talents are. Talk to your friends. Think about compliments and comments people have made about you, and analyze them and find what those core talents are, and what are you going to do this year to begin to live within them. Are you going to start advertising your services like me? This year I want to be able to begin to advertise my services to the country. Even though the money is not there, we are figuring out how we are going to make this done in a way that is both financially feasible and would reach the audience that we are hoping that it would reach. But how are you going to make sure that the world hears of you before you finally say your goodbyes? Are you going to take a conscious effort at caring for you, for your being, for who you are? Taking care of you is crucial, because we can make all the plans we want to make in this world. You can save all you like, you can be as successful as you like, but if you are not healthy and strong psychologically, physically, and mentally, you will not be able to achieve the things you have set out to achieve. You will not be the best person to have as a friend. You will not even be a good person to have as a partner, because it's only when you are your happiest self, your most and then I'm not talking about the surface happiness, I'm talking about contentment, when you feel the calmest. If you do yoga, when you do the breathing exercises, at the point where you feel your spirit is calm and you can control the noise around, that feeling of contentment within, it's when you are there that you can give off your best to the next person, no matter who they are, be it a child, a mother, a spouse, or friends. And most especially people you work with, either your employees or your subordinates or your superiors. You have to take the time to focus on you. I want you to take a moment and understand what I'm saying. You have to take care of you. You have to, because you matter. Before anything else is me, Nata Eko. Before anything else, God is looking at Teko. I will not probably die on the same day. Maybe, you never know. But the day I will be called might be different from the day my partner would be called, my child would be called, my friends would be called. So it's first and foremost, it's you. So you have to make time to care for you. I know we all give the excuse when you have to make time to do something for yourself. We make the excuse that we don't have enough time, we don't do this, we don't do that. But you realize that when there's an emergency, somehow we get time. When someone calls you out of the blues and says, someone important to you, and says someone important to them just fell down and is probably dying and I need to rush to, we make time. How can we make time in situations where we don't have any control, and yet we don't want to make time to avoid those situations in the first place? Make time to take care of you. Make time to care for you so that you can be your best, so you can give off your best. And there are two things about you. There are a couple more than two, but we'll focus on two for the purposes of becoming more this conversation. There are two things that I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on your physical you, and then I want you to focus on the mental you, the mental, taking care of your mental self. So for the physical, let's look at the physical. Last year, I think about between January and August, I had maintained my morning jogs. But then from August up to the end of the year, I almost completely stopped. Yes, once in a while I went, but it wasn't regular. And so it didn't help me. And so I didn't get into the fun, the festivities, sure of the fact that no matter how much I ate or drank, I wasn't going to be affected. I knew I had already put on a little bit. And so when I was having fun, I was at the back of my mind, oh, I know I'm going to have to lose this weight. I know I'm going to do this, and I know I'm going to do that. Because for me, I was always a skinny person. I don't care about being skinny. I care about being strong and healthy. And so I know when I'm beginning to feel weak and when I'm beginning to pant at the slightest activity. So when it's getting there, I make an effort to make sure that I get back to exercising. So that the thing is, the effort or the discipline you take to exercise your physical body is the effort and the discipline you take to exercise your mind, and or to stay on a budget, and or to stop yourself from doing something, a habit that is not good, or to fast. And so you have to exercise all the time just to keep yourself sane and be happy and focused. And so make an effort this year at your physical well-being. It doesn't have to be jogging. It doesn't have to be going to the gym. Just pick something that excites you, that would make you sweat at least for 30 minutes in a day or 2-3 days time. This year I have told myself I'm not going to go jogging every day because I want to make it realistic and practical enough for me to be able to do it. So I'm going to go jogging 3 times a week. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I will go for my dawn jogs, And then the subsequent days, if I'm lucky and I come home early one day, I probably will pass through the gym or something, but those are on my spare ones, So that's for my lag time when I'm planning my schedule. So the thing I'm trying to say is make sure you add a physical activity to your daily routine this year so that it keeps your physical being healthy. The healthier we are, the happier we are, the wealthier we can be. Then mentally feed your mind the right kinds of stuff. I think we have said this over and over. But this year, make an effort to, if you plan ahead, that would be good. Because if you plan ahead to read at least 1 book a month, then you would have planned the kinds of books you're going to read. It can be about anything. It can be about getting closer to God or knowing God more. It can be about life itself and what life has to offer and, motivational stuff. It can be about nature, trees, plants, animals, whatever you want to learn about. It can be family, how to take care of your partner better, how to be more romantic so that this year your sex life with your partner might be better than it was in the past. It can be about business, how you do your business better. This year, I want to learn more about some of the coaching tools other coaching outlets teach and, see how it will impact my coaching career. It can be about finance, about how to budget and how to work within a budget and not stray too far off. It could be anything, but what you need to do is learn, keep learning, keep getting knowledge, soak it up, because even the good book says, and today we are shooting on a Sunday so that we can load for you tomorrow on a Monday. So the good book tells us to seek for knowledge, and that without knowledge we will perish. So don't be afraid to go seek after knowledge. Get into intellectual arguments with your friends instead of gossips, instead of things that don't matter. Have intellectual debates, learn more, feed your spirit more, feed your mind more, so that together you are developing physically, mentally, and psychologically. Endeavor to keep your sanity, like guard your sanity. Like I said earlier, when the friend asked me for my support, I think I should have just said no, not for my support, for collaboration to do what we wanted to do. I should have just said no, but because I thought it was a good opportunity, I said, let me think about it, and then I forgot to even get back to him. That was disrespectful of me. If I had said no at the get-go, then we wouldn't have gone to the point where I'm feeling guilty and all of that, and he's feeling like he can't rely on me, you know. So this year, make it a part of your plan to keep sane, to keep your sanity. So make sure that you take care of your mind. So what you don't want to do, just outright say no. And if you change of course you can change your mind. You can go back and have a conversation, but try to manage your mind in the chaos that life presents to us sometimes. Plan fun activities with family and friends, even when you're in traffic. These days I tend to try to enjoy traffic because there's absolutely nothing I can't get up and lift my car and start running. I can't do anything about it. Gone are the days where I'll go and drive on the shoulder of the road or try to bypass the next person illegally. I have a child now, so I want to live longer and take care of her. So I want you to focus on your sanity. Enjoy the traffic if you can. Use that moment to sing loudly. You know, not all of us have good voices. That's when I sing, I scream, I do my hallelujahs, and sometimes I even pray in those moments. Enjoy, take advantage of those moments. Make it something that works for you, so that together we would become more psychologically, physically, and mentally. Becoming more is meant to ensure that you're truly living and fully enjoying this gift called life and time. And so I hope that together we can move forward in every aspect of the word. Next week, we will talk about goal setting, so that I would hopefully guide you through the process of setting up your goals for the year in a manner that it's intentional and it's simple and creative enough for you to be able to achieve them. Thank you for listening to me today. This is Nata Eko, Becoming More.